Hi, welcome to Ski Talk. I'm Steve Kopitz, the CEO for SkisDOTcom, and with us I have our Nordica rep, John Kirchhoff. Hi, John.
Good morning, Steve. Thanks.
And next to me I also have the Transfire R3 from Nordica. So John, the first thing I noticed is I think that Nordica made a mistake. They missed a buckle on this boot. It's only got 3 buckles on
Yeah, it does for sure. 3-buckle, 3-piece boot, which is what's considered to be modern. And this is out of what we consider our progressive front side. People that, again, all mountain skiers, but love getting out there and ripping turns from top to bottom. And 3-buckle, 3-piece gives you the most modern effect in terms of how we get energy from edge to edge of the ski, but also how we give you the most secure, precise fit without disrupting comfort.
Okay. So is the 3-buckle have an advantage over a 4-buckle boot?
You know, that's hard to argue. It really depends on the skier and what they're looking for and what they want out of a boot. You know, one big advantage out of this, and I'll give credit to snowboarding, is we actually use a 45-degree instep retention strap, like a snowboard ladder, that actually draws you back comfortably and securely. So if you have a lower volume foot like mine, I crank that thing right down.
So it helps with heel hold.
Yep, absolutely.
If you've got a heel that maybe is narrower, tends to move up and down, it's more likely to pull it back into that heel.
Or vice versa. If you've got a higher volume foot, you can have a more relaxed fit over it. It's really, really creative and really unique, and it has to be right at 45, which Nordica is the only brand doing that.
Okay. So what other features do we have on this boot to help for fit and comfort?
Another big one is actually all new liner technology this year throughout the entire range. We have a box cut toe, and with that box cut toe, the typical response when somebody slides their foot into a boot is, feel the end of the boot, toe bang, whatever. With a box cut toe, you get a much more relaxed shape and fit out of the boot right out of the box.
Is that has the neoprene toe in it as well?
Yep, it does. We use a neoprene toe that you can actually see through the translucent shell.
Right.
That's much more of a sock-like fit, which is nice too, so more relaxed.
Because sometimes customers are not comfortable or not used to their toes actually being to the front of the liner, which is an appropriate fit, right?
Correct. When you stand up vertical in a boot, your toe should be touching the end of the boot. However, when you flex forward like you would be in the lift line or making that first turn, you draw everything back in the boot. So
with
that helps.
The neoprene, it doesn't bother people quite so much because it kind of moves.
Yeah, right on the mark.
Okay, great. Let's see, what else we have on this boot in terms of
You know, another thing we've run into, not just in this collection, but in a couple places, is more range of adjustment. So all micro-adjustable aluminum hardware throughout, so you can really define the precise fit. Another cool thing is we actually have a macro-adjustable buckle at the top for more or less range. But that's only half the story. On the back,
that's for somebody who has a larger calf and
or in my case, a smaller calf too. So I can actually make it smaller or larger, which is neat.
Okay.
But Steve, on the back of the boot, we have something called the adjustable cuff profile. That it's a comfort adjustment. It's for volume, but more importantly, it allows us to create the right stance for the skier. So again, guy with a big burly leg shape, it allows us to open it up, and he can have the same stance in his boot that you and I do in ours for better energy, better leg, conservation throughout the day.
So that's cool. How does that work exactly?
Just take the Allen key that comes right in the bag, click, 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 and you can open up to different degrees of how much range you want.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is a 90 flex on a 102 width.
Yep.
So let's talk about the width. 102 is kind of in the middle range of
it's
most.
average. Yep. It's like your favorite skate shoe, your favorite run around shoe. So it's 102 millimeters of the ball of the foot. So it offers good security without just really locking you in there.
So if you don't have that super wide foot or super narrow foot, this one should be right from a width standpoint.
For the average medium one.
And then 90 flex, so that has to do with the stiffness of the boot. So that's sort of a moderate stiff. Who's the ideal customer for that flex and that width?
As we talked about earlier, I would suggest the Transfire R3 is the all-mountain skier aspiring to get towards the top of the mountain. Someone who's confident in their skiing, but it's not their only obsession in life.
So this is the intermediate to strong intermediate skier that's looking to get better.
Right on the mark.
Move into the advanced level. Okay, great. So there you have it. That's the Transfire R3 from Nordica. I'm Steve Kopitz. Thanks for joining us on Ski Talk.